Hello everybody and welcome back to Chris Aquatics. In today's video we're doing a bit of a setup tour of all of my aquariums that I have set up at the moment. I've got two tanks that I'm not showing in this video as I have separate videos coming for them soon, but I have quite a few aquariums that I can show you guys. So we've got 7 tanks to show at the moment. I've got a couple different ponds outside, but I was thinking I could make that a separate video, but I thought we could get into this tour. Our first tank is, I'm fairly sure it's like a 30 centimeter by 30 centimeter cube. I don't remember, I've had this tank for quite a while, but it's one of the all-in-one aquariums with the stuff in the back, the filter and stuff in the back, so that's all in the back of this tank. But I filled it up with plants because I thought I should do that. So there's a bit of maidenhair fern, Moses in the cradle is this larger one. We've got some syngonium and lucky bamboo as well. There's this plant, I don't know the name of it, but it's growing in here as well. But in this tank we've got a few different types of plants and we've got mostly shrimp. So we've got orange and reds in here at the moment. Trying to get rid of the glare. There's a black sakura in here, but it hasn't really made any problems with my shrimp breeding. But yeah, mainly just oranges and reds in this tank. I'm not showing much of it because I need to redesign it to have a better video for it coming out soon. But yeah, that's the first aquarium. So my second tank has been my main focus recently. So starting from the top, we have Monstera Sony, I think is what I purchased this as. So that's that one. There's, what's the name of this? Pothos Mandula in here as well. There's a bit of the Moses in the cradle just tucked in the bottom, just down there. And then I've also got a Christmas star growing out of the water, and I tried my luck with a bit of Java moss and it's not doing too well at the top, but halfway down it's sort of starting to grow, as you can kind of tell. I have a piece of syngonium. I don't remember what this one is. I think it's tricolor or something. I could be wrong. I don't know the name of it. But that's growing as well, and it's running off CO2. So this tank's on CO2. And it's doing really well at the moment. We've got quite a lot of my decently priced plants in here. I'm storing all of my white clouds and gold clouds in here for the winter. I'm going to move them out for the summer to breed, but they're all in here at the moment. Not really the amount of fish I want in here, but they're in here anyways. So going through the tank, we've got a big piece of wood with some Christmas moss mixed with a bit of Java at the top. This is a green gecko crypt. Then I've also got some pearlweed, and there's a couple other different plants mixed around. This is sort of my boost section here. There's a bit of weeping moss spread out through all the rocks. This is called hookeray moss, I think. I could have pronounced that wrong. Then there's some boost here, and I've got Nubius Pinto. I've got mixed crypts throughout the entire tank, and yes, I have a talking bird. I've got mixed crypts throughout the tank. I've got a couple different stem plants as well, and I've got some, what's it called? Jungle Vow in the back left corner. So that's this tank at the moment. It's still going in quite a lot, but I'm really proud of it because I've got a lot of decent growth in here. But that's this tank for the moment. It's also not as easy to film these guys, but I do have 6 peppermints in this tank. Probably don't believe me, but I do have 6 peppermints in this tank. They're always hiding. And I was hoping to be able to show you guys them, but I don't seem to see any at the moment. I'll probably cut back to this if I do get them to be out, but hopefully I can show you guys. My largest tank is 60 centimeters long by 50 centimeters high. I don't know the depth, I'm saying like 30, I think maybe 30. And it is home to a vast array of plants. It's got a blixier sort of carpet starting to fill in on both sides, and it's starting to tuck its way in. I don't really know what these are. It's like a sucking cat, I think. I've got 5 Siamese algae eaters, and I've been informed that this is not a big enough tank for them. So it might have issues in the future. I might have to give those away, but I do have those. I've got a small school of neons that are really just pain in the ass, and I'm just letting them live out their days in this tank until they die of old age, and then I'm probably not going to get any more again. I have quite a lot of larger fish in here as well. So we've got 3 gouramis at the moment. This is a 3 spot, I think. I forget the name of this one, but I also have a pearl gourami in here, and then I have 2 paradise fish. That's one of the paradise fish, and that's the other one over there. Pogrammi's gone and hid, but hey. Bulbitis in the big piece of wood. I don't know what type of wood this is, so if you guys know, let me know. It threw out a lot of tannins when I first had to boil it, so that could be an indicator. I have a mix of different stem plants going through the back, some larger leaf ones. I don't know most of the names. I have a lot of jungle val going out the back to try to fill out the forest in the back is what I was trying to go for. I have one otter sinkless catfish in here as well. I don't see him too often, but he's in here. We've got, I think this is cryptocrine brown or something, like brownie or something like that, in here as well. I have quite a lot of anubias spread out across the tank, and then I've got needle leaf java fern in the front here. Larger piece of java fern in the back, and then this whole right corner is full of Amazon sword. And when I say full, I mean that this is a different stem here, but these are all from that big sword right now. If I pull it out of the tank, you'll get an idea of how big this is growing. But that's all going to be Amazon sword pups, which is pretty cool. The top of the tank has a, what's it called? Peace lily, that's the word. It's got a peace lily growing out the top of it. I've got a green syngonium. I don't know what the name of this one is either. And yeah, I've got a green syngonium growing out of here. I've got this larger one or something. I don't know what this is either. I need to learn the names of these things. And then I've got green, sorry, what's it called? Golden pothos. That's the word. Golden pothos growing out of this tank. So that's this tank. It only has a hang on the back filter on this tank actually too. So this tank has hang on back filter. This tank has the inlet filter in the back. I try to use the top plants to filter all my tanks. So all three of these tanks have the back filters, except for that to hang in the back, but I still count that as a back filter. But I let the top plants do all the work. On the rack that we set up in our recent video, there's a tank up top here. You can see the bottom of it. I've got a video coming out for that soon. Probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks. I need that tank to cycle before I can do anything with it. So that's a hint for what I'm doing. But I have on this rack these two set up. They're both the same. They're both these type of containers from Kmart in Australia. I have a third one all the way up the top, but I haven't set that one up yet, if you can see. So that's a coming video. This is just aquarium salt, and that's a coming video for another sort of thing that we're gonna do. I haven't really decided what I'm making in these yet. So these little setups you've seen me do videos on, I have this plant right here, Marble Queen Pothos, growing out of this tank. I don't remember the name of this, but this is growing back here too. I like this one, it's very nice. And then I have quite a few different plants growing out the top of this tank. So there's Snow Queen Pothos at the front on both sides. Pothos and Joy is in the back corner. I have a Syngonium green one at the top here that's growing too. Then they have our big tank. So this tank is like shorter in height than that one. So this is only like 30 or 40 centimeters, 35 I think it is. But it is full of a lot of fish at the moment. So this is where all my rice fish breeders are at the moment. I also have my 8 super red short fin bristlenose in here at the moment as well. And I think there's 5 albino commons. I think there's 5 or 6, I can't remember. And I also have blue shrimp in here at the moment. These are not great grey, but they're just spread out throughout the tank. So this is kind of just a all over the place sort of thing. The plants aren't organized. I've just got them all in here until I can get all the fish out for summer, and then I can actually do this properly, because when I try to plant this out properly, it just makes a huge mess. But we feed these guys algae wafers for the bristlenose that have both the males are hiding right now because I'm here and I exist. But we go back here, we can see the peppermints is one of them. Actually came out, and I can kind of try to show you the males in their caves. So I've got 2 out of the 8 so far that I'm fairly sure are males. You can see 1 and 2 without blasting their poor home. But we have those as well. So this tank is just a bit of everything spread out across the whole thing at the moment. But I did list everything that's in here. There's a couple different types of plants, a lot of subwasser tang, Java, moss, Lixia is in here as well. Bulbitis as well. I really need to keep track of my tanks. I've got different stem plants growing in all different corners and stuff. I'm trying to get rid of all of my duckweed out of all my tanks. So far, empty, almost empty. And then the shrimp tanks are still work in progress, but I've got it all out of the Bloody Mary tank, which is awesome. But yeah, that's this tank for the moment. Nothing too special, but yeah. Now this little setup is one of my favorites. So you guys have seen me do the setup video for this. I did add my Bloody Mary shrimp to it, but they didn't seem to be doing too well. So I moved them out. But since then, we have quite a nice amount of growth on our new, on the booster we added in this corner. And then on the back, we have new leaves on the Anubias. I set it up with this little light here. It's nothing special, it's just a tiny little light that turns on. And we have had the same little resident little fish swimming around in here. You can see it at the front, right there, for quite a while now. And it's just been growing out in here, so I'm happy to let it be. But I did end up going out and going for a bit of fishing, and I got some shrimp free in here. So, they're the Australian native shrimp, and I have a handful in here, I think, that are still alive. I did add a fair few at the start, but I think a lot of them just died to stress. Trying to get a good angle on one of them. You can kind of see it, there you go. So there's a couple of those in here. So I have quite a different few species of shrimp in all my tanks, which I'm pretty happy with. Now going down the rack from the big tank, we have one of our smaller tanks, which is among one of our 3 breeders that we got down here. So in this tank is a lot of warm water at the top, mainly for the babies to have more safer coverage and stuff. But you can sort of see there's quite a lot of rice fish babies in here. If I go from above, it might be a bit easier to spot them. There you go, you can kind of tell. So I've got quite a few rice fish babies in here, which is really nice. This is the snowball shrimp tank, so I've got snowball shrimp in here. And I've got quite a lot of rice fish babies as well. Nothing too special, just a huge clump of Java moss and my snowball shrimp, along with some ramswan snails. I've got these in all my tanks. It's kind of becoming a pain, but yeah, nothing too special in that one. This tank has the infamous Bloody Mary shrimp. This tank is always needing of a water change because there's just so many shrimp in here. You can see I fed them a little bit and they're just everywhere. There you go. I've got a couple of the albino bristlenose still in here that I couldn't really fish out, and I was like, you know, they can stay. The walls are starting to get really good with the algae, so I'm just letting this tank grow out with all the walls. I want it to be like that. I haven't cleaned off the glass in the front, so it's still a bit not clear. But yeah, this tank is just full of lots of Java moss at the back, a bit of needle-leaf Java fern spread out, some Indian almond leaf in all my tanks. There's a bit of Physidens moss there as well. But yeah, nothing too crazy in here, just lots of Bloody Mary shrimp. Our last tank is the yellow cherry shrimp tank. So we've got our yellows in here, got quite a few. There's an interesting kind of willy type that kind of just went behind the thing right now. But I got that off another person. Oh god, the bird. Anyway, the wall's starting to grow out in here too. I have so many of these like little tiny things, critters flying around in all my tanks, but the walls are good because you can see with all the baby shrimp on the walls, which is what I want. That's that odd willy shrimp that I was talking about. So I thought I'd just leave them in here, maybe I can get some more willies and start a willy colony. But I have this yellow tank full of lots of subwasser tongue. Then there's a couple of other different things. This is a piece of boost that I was letting them clean all the algae off of. And they're almost done, so I can actually put this in one of my better CO2 tanks, which is awesome. Which is what we've got in the yellow tank. Nothing too crazy in the shrimp tanks. It's more just for breeding. I don't have a lot of substrate in all of these. It's just a thin layer. But yeah. So we have our aquarium that we set up in this corner, and it's sealed at the moment. It's got plenty of water in it, which is what we want. I've never really done one before, so I don't necessarily know what to look for. The moss is sort of starting to grow. The fern doesn't look like it's doing too well, and this plant, I don't remember the name of it. but it has sort of started to look like it's growing. I don't really know what to look for really with these things, but I do have this set up. Then I also have this little jar that I have of just other plants that I have just normally sitting next to it. But yeah, that's what I have. I always have to move the light over to film this one because I don't have enough lights. Going over a couple of highlights across my tanks, I've got so many rice fish, which is really cool. I can't wait to get them out in the summer to start breeding, but they're really awesome to breed. I find them really interesting. The female is always on eggs, as you can see. She's always got eggs. There's an orange one that has eggs now too over here. So we've got 2 breeding. The heat is on in this tank, otherwise they wouldn't be breeding because it's starting to become winter in Australia. But they are starting to breed, which is awesome. Now in this tank over here is where all my rarer plants are, and I'm pretty proud of this. So a couple of the rarer ones is the hookah moss, or hookah, so I really don't know how to pronounce it. But I have a tiny clump of that on this rock. I have a fairly large piece of boost that I got as my first one. It's not worth much, but I'm still proud of it. This is my favorite plant at the moment, Anubias pinto, so I've got that in this tank. Still need to get rid of all the fucking snail eggs because they're just everywhere. But that's in here too. I did add a grid with a bit of Java moss at the back, and it started to brown, but it's starting to grow back, which is awesome. One of my favorite plants also is this right here, the Balense crypt. I think that's how you say it, Balense. It's got to be one of my favorites. I got this off a friend, and he was a bloody legend hooking me up with it. You can sort of see with all the fish in here how excited they get for food. I can feed them for you guys if you want. So I think I'll get the food and I'll feed these guys. White clouds especially, they kind of just dart around. They're very, very out there. I kind of try to crush it up, and then I get my fingers in to get rid of the rest of it. But please do not add wet fingers to more flakes. That's not smart. Some people do that and it really annoys me. But you can see the fish are very good at this sort of vibe. They really, I don't have words for this, but I enjoy watching them eat, really. Now with the bigger tank, I add a mixture of food. So I'm just gonna try to add a bit of flakes for them. Like this. And then we also add pellets too. I'll get those for you guys. Okay, so they go more ham for the pellets. Just like this. So I like this tank a lot. Watching these guys eat is so much more interesting. And the growth of the Amazon swords is always interesting to watch too. Okay, so in sense of future videos for these, I would like to do maybe a weekly live stream. I thought would be interesting, so that we can just have a sit down and talk about all the tanks, and you guys can share your knowledge and I can share a bit of mine. So if you guys find that to be interesting, I would love for you guys to let me know, and I might think of probably doing that maybe once a week on a Friday. I'll try to make it a decent time for everyone to be able to come in and say hello. But next video I would do most likely will be a redesign of here, because I want a bit more interesting stuff in that tank than what I have. Maybe I can do a bit more stuff in the big tank, but yeah, I don't really think I'm going to be setting up more tanks as such. I can set up more jars, but probably not more tanks. I have one more slot for a jar right up there on this side, but yeah. Other than that, I hope you guys found this video a bit more interesting. It's not really so professional and such as me just trying to share my views on my tanks. So please don't try to view it that way, because it's not really what my videos are about. I want my videos to be more interesting in the sense of knowledge, not perfectly amazing camera and stuff, of which I don't have a really amazing camera. I film on my phone. You can see my super reds look really nice in this lighting. But yeah, I might just finish the video here. Hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you found any of this interesting. And I'd love to hear if you guys would find the live streams interesting too, because I'd love to try that out for you guys. I'll catch you guys later. Bye bye.